Welcome to Love What You Love. I'm Julie Rose. I'm insatiably curious about people in the world around us and absolutely in love with passion and unselfconscious enthusiasm. Every other week, I geek out with someone about the thing that they love, and then I share it with you. Welcome back, or welcome. Real quick, it would be absolutely amazing if you would take just a few minutes to rate and or review Love What You Love on the podcasting platform or platforms of your choice. It really helps the podcast so much, and it helps other folks find us and get more love in their life. Okay, let's meet this week's guest. Nitesh Aggerwal is an avid gamer, amateur photographer, and Lego builder. He is super passionate about his Lego builds and has been for over 30 years. It was so great to chat with him. His love absolutely shines through. In this episode, we talk engineering job skills, finance ministries, $10,000 Lego builds, stress relief, Minas Tirith, Lego life lessons, and so much more. So find out why Nitesh loves Legos and why you might learn to love them too. Hello, Nitesh. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Julie. Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited to talk with you because every time I see you on a video call, you've got a Lego build somewhere nearby. And when we ask you what you did on vacation, you're like, well, I did another Lego build. So I'm super excited to find out, when did you start doing Lego builds? And is that even the right language for what you do?
That is the right language to say what I do. But I've been building Legos ever since I remember, ever since I was a kid. So I'm an engineer by education, and that sort of came in because I've always been intrigued by how things work, how things go together, how they break apart and everything. And that sort of kicked off from Legos. When I was a kid, when I got my first Lego, when my dad got me one, and I've been intrigued with them, been playing with them. Initially, it was just building whatever I can think of. But now with these new Legos come out where you can build actual pop culture things and memorabilia and all that sort of stuff, it's gotten even more fun, where you can build like actual buildings and actual vehicles and that sort of stuff. So it's gotten even more fun and more interesting now.
Yeah, so what was the first thing you built when you were a kid?
A house, pretty much from open Legos. Just a house with a patio and a balcony and a railing and a fireplace chimney. Because at that point in time, there used to be only loose Legos where you can build whatever you can imagine. So pretty much built a house.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And so did your dad encourage you? Did he get you more Lego kits or?
Just the loose Legos, because we were not that well off, so it's only so much of Legos you can buy. So it was pretty much the loose Legos. He didn't get me any of those kits which I buy these days on my own. But no, it was pretty much loose Legos. Build whatever you want with those loose Legos, and that's what I played around with.
So what was like the weirdest thing that you built when you were a kid?
The weirdest thing I built was, I had a bunch of miniature dinosaurs and those farm animals, cows and everything. So I built sort of a zoo with the Lego walls and everything, which had all the farm animals and the dinosaurs and everything. And my sister used to tease me about it. Oh, you cannot have cows right next to a Tyrannosaurus because they're going to eat it. I said, no, it's my zoo. Everybody's domesticated. They're all friends. Nobody's going to eat each other.
How long have Legos even been around?
I've been playing with them for more than 30 years. So I don't know, even if must be long before that, because
yeah,
I've grown up building them. Both my daughters build them regularly. From my say, I'll say easily more than 30 years.
And have you been to Legoland?
Oh, yes. We went to Legoland before the pandemic. This was in 2019. Yes, we went to Legoland. It was fun. Those enormous Legos, seeing that they've built the whole Big Ben and the Statue of Liberty and the whole New York skyline with Legos. Oh, it was really exciting to see all of that. And
what can you even do at Legoland? I've never been.
It's a theme park. It's sort of a mini Disneyland where you can go and take rides, and you can see all those sculptures they've built out of Legos. But it's basically a theme park where you go and take roller coaster rides and do that sort of stuff.
So you started building kits. What was the first actual kit that you put together?
The first actual kit I put together was, again, it was from the Jurassic World movie. so
so you're all about dinosaurs.
I got
okay.
dinosaurs. So it's a kit of that whole, if you've seen the Jurassic World movie where they actually breed that white Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it's that kit where the habitat where they are breeding that whole white big Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they got all those cranes and all those things. So that's the first kit we built, the first actual kit I bought. Me and my daughter built together.
Oh, okay. So did you buy it for her, or did you buy it for you and let her be part of it?
So technically, all the Legos come from my daughter. Technically. That's what my wife knows, and that's what we tell her. That no, they are from my daughter. But between my daughter and myself, we just decide on who gets to build what.
So how does that break down? Like, do you guys like flip a coin? Do you say, oh, I really like this one better? I mean, how do you decide who gets to do which one?
Pretty much between both of us, and like who's built the last one. So for example, I have a huge Imperial Star Destroyer, a Star Wars Imperial Star Destroyer, which I built. It's almost 4 feet big, 2 feet wide and everything. The next one we got was the Colosseum. That's a huge piece as well, almost the same size, 9,000 plus pieces. My daughter said, I'm going to take the lead on this one. You can help me out because you built the last big one. I said, okay. So since she got to do that, I got to build the Ferrari. So we sort of alternate between each other and then help us out. Considering these are big pieces, it takes a while. So if I'm doing it, then she can come in and help me do some of those multiple pieces which have to go the same way, and then I help her out a bit with the Colosseum as well. So yeah, between both of us, we just alternate.
And how old is your daughter?
She's gonna be 13 in a month or so. Yeah.
Oh man, that's such a cool thing to be able to do with each other. So you said 9,000 pieces?
Yes, the Colosseum is a little more than 9,000 pieces. The Imperial Star Destroyer was pretty close to that as well. We got a full-size model of the Hogwarts Castle from Harry Potter. That's close to 7,000 pieces as well. I got an 8080 Walker from Star Wars. What other big ones do I have? I got the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars as well. So yeah, some pretty huge pieces.
Maybe as an engineer, it's pretty straightforward. But like, how do you approach doing a big build like that? Like, do you break it down into steps? How does that even work?
Break it down into steps. So pretty much the first thing to do is organize the pieces, like color code them away. All the grays goes on one side, all the blacks go on one side, so that it's easier to find. So if you need a black piece, you know which pile to go in. And if you need a gray piece, you know which pile to go in. Otherwise, the pieces range from 1 centimeter to maybe a couple of inches big, so all size. Color code them, separate them out, spread them all across the room, and then slowly look at it and then start building them up.
Is there like a plan that you follow, or you just like look at the picture and say, okay, well...
No, there is considering these ones are big pieces, they do send a plan with that on what you should follow, what steps you should follow, and how to build it. You can do it by looking at the picture and building it yourself as well. But these Lego sets do come with their whole set of plan on this is the first thing you should build, and then you should build this, which will make your life easier.
And have you always followed the plans, or have you ever kind of tried to freelance it?
We tried freelancing a bit on some of the initial ones. It didn't work out.
Okay.
It did not work out.
Oh my God. So wait, so no, do you have like a room dedicated to this so all the pieces stay in place? And like, how does this work? My wife doesn't like that, but we got the whole house dedicated to Legos. Every room has a big Lego in it. The biggest ones are in our living room, downstairs in our house, where we have that Imperial Star Destroyer on one side of the room, and then the Colosseum on one. The Hogwarts Castle sits in the big dining room. The cars sit in the family room. I got a big ship behind my desk. No, pretty much every room has a Lego in it. Wherever we find space, we just put it there. That's awesome. And so when you're putting them together, how long does it take to put a really big project together?
Sometimes a lot of time. Like for the Colosseum, since we were doing it over the holidays, we had a lot of time on our hands. So we were able to get the Colosseum done in less than a week. But like the Imperial Star Destroyer, because I was working and she had a school, it took us almost 3 weeks to build that one. So really depends on how much time I have on my hand and how much time my daughter have on her hands to just go and work on it.
So do you kind of get into like a meditative groove when you're doing these builds?
Oh, it is. When we are at it, we don't want to be disturbed. Like my wife knows that she's not supposed to disturb me or my daughter. The problem is we have a little one who's 4. She doesn't care. When she wants to play, and she'll come in. And it's right now our biggest challenge is keeping her away from these big pieces because they're so big. A little push or anything can topple them over, break them, and then you have to. So our biggest challenge right now in the whole house is trying to keep her away from all these pieces and keeping them safe.
You know, if you're able to, like, the little one is having a nap or something and you're able to work on your piece, is it like a stress reliever for you?
It is a stress reliever because especially for me, because like I said, my whole mindset has been intrigued by how things work together, they piece together and everything. So for me, it is a stress reliever. Just sit down, look at it, start building it, and then after spending an hour, half an hour, you do see what you have built from all those tiny pieces taking shape and coming alive. No, it's a big stress reliever for me.
Yeah. And you don't have to report to senior management about it when you're done.
The only report we have to do is, okay, where are we going to put it? And then, is this your last one or are you getting any more?
So you have these huge pieces. Is there a way to like shellac them or something to keep them like so they don't break, or do they put them in cabinets, or do you not want to do that? Maybe someday you want to take it apart.
No. I definitely don't want to take it apart. We spend so much time and effort into it. People showcase them. There are many people, if you look up on Instagram or anywhere, you'll see actual Lego builders who have a massive collection of Legos where they build it. They box them in acrylic cases and display them so that they don't get dirty and everything. We just display them. I make sure I dust them every week so that they stay clean. But yeah, people box them, and because some of these pieces are pretty rare to find and some of them are even discontinued where you can't even find them anymore and build them anymore. So they are unique pieces which are really expensive and you can't find them anywhere now.
So now what's the most rare piece that you've made so far?
The most rare piece I have is a Millennium Falcon. That's the big Millennium Falcon. That one is almost 4 feet in diameter as well. That's one of the rare ones. The Imperial Star Destroyer, that is part of the Lego's Ultimate Collector series as well. That's pretty rare. The Colosseum is pretty hard to find, even though it came out fairly recently. It's pretty hard to find.
What's the most complicated build you guys have done, and then how long did it take?
Oh, that was this Imperial Star Destroyer. It's really complicated because the other pieces are, at least they have a base. I can pick them up easily. This Imperial Star Destroyer, considering this is a spaceship, it's a Star Destroyer, the integrities which went into building the skeleton of that was pretty hard. Lifting it and moving it is pretty hard as well because it's so delicate. If I don't lift it from the right space, it's literally gonna crumble apart. So that one is tucked right next to a wall where nobody's even allowed to go within a feet of that. Forget about the little one. I don't even allow my wife, anybody to go because it's so delicate. I know if you don't lift it up properly, if you touch it real hard, it is gonna fall apart.
How much does this stuff cost?
Yeah, depends on from piece to piece. But these big pieces, they are part of the collector series, which Lego does, which they don't build that much. The Imperial Star Destroyer cost me $750. The Colosseum was close to 800. Yeah, these are pretty expensive Legos.
Is there a build that you've done that you thought, I don't know if I'm going to really enjoy this, but then you ended up loving it.
No, no, no. Pretty much all the Legos we have built so far, they have been super fun to build because we've pretty much built stuff which we know of, like mainly Star Wars or the Colosseum or the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park or even from the Lego Ninjago's. Is pretty much everything we have built, we know about it. We've seen those. And since we have been building I have been building Legos for a while, and my daughter has been too. We pretty much love any Lego which comes out because the way they design these Legos, they're always fun to build. Too much attention. It's really good attention to details. Too many pieces coming in, interlocking together. It's always fun. I've never ever had a Lego which I've not liked.
I came across something called Lego Ideas. What is that?
So there are different type of Legos you can build. There are certain Lego models where are just Legos which you build like for display. There is a Lego Technic, which are sort of how do I put it this way? They are engineering sets, Technic sets, which actually they're not motorized, but they sort of work together. Like, for example, I got a pretty big set of a Bugatti and a big set of a Ferrari. Now those, if I say were to play with them, even though they're built out of Lego, say if I were to roll them, you can see their engine pistons moving. If you turn the steering wheel, you can see the front wheels move because even though they're Legos, the way they're built is they have all these functioning parts and levers and everything, so they actually work. Lego Ideas is another such thing where you can actually build in and you can even motorize it as well. You can add an actual motor to it which is operated by batteries, and then you can even control it from your smartphone as well. So Legos is not just about building sets and putting them there. You can in fact, my daughter has one. She's got a Lego where it's a set. It's got a motorized motor with it, which can connect through Wi-Fi to your phone. You can build a robot out of it, an excavator, and you can control it from your phone.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Wow. So are there any of those types that you haven't built yet that you really want to build?
There is one. There is.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
How long is your list?
Oh, my list. My list is pretty huge. Yeah, it all comes down to how much funding we get approval from the finance minister in this house. No, but there is a Lego. Again, it's a pretty massive build as well. I think it's almost 3 feet wide, but it's an excavator where you actually build it and you can control it from your phone. You can make it work and make the excavator go up and down. That's a pretty cool one.
That is very cool. Can you design your own Lego build as well?
You can. So apart from these sets, Lego sells a lot of loose sets as well in every different shapes and size and everything. So if you can envision it, you can buy those loose pieces and design it as a lot of people do that. And if you just look up Lego designer, people just buy loose pieces and they build anything and everything they want. One of the projects which me and my daughter, we sort of started doing is we are trying to build a Lego model of our own house. So pretty much just get a blank Lego board and then start getting pieces and sort of build a replica of how our house is, inside and out, build it with Legos. That's going to take a lot of time considering it's not something standard which Lego builds, so we have to find the pieces, order them, and then build them. So, but no, that's something which we've started doing for the last, I think it's been a couple of months since we started doing it.
How often do you step barefoot on Lego pieces?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Especially now more since our younger one has started getting into Legos as well on her own. So she plays with loose Legos, but no, a lot.
What's kind of next on your agenda? So I know you've got there's so many you want to do, but what's next?
They released a replica of the Titanic a month or so ago. It's almost 4 feet long. Really nice detailed replica of the Titanic where you can build the actual Titanic shape. You can even break it down and you can actually see the quarters and everything inside. So it's that much detail. And that's the biggest set they've released in terms of the PC. I think it's close to 9,500 pieces, but then it's closer to $850. So we are still waiting for approval on that one.
And you have to build on a new part of your house to house the
That's the other
Titanic.
thing as well. Yeah, even if you get the approval, the thing is, where are you going to put it?
Is there like a holy grail? Like, oh my God, if I could ever do this one, this is what I'd want to do.
Lego had Death Star Lego from Star Wars. Again, that was pretty big as well. I think that was one of their biggest pieces ever. We wanted to get that, but by the time I convinced my wife and she came around to it, Lego stopped making it.
Oh no!
So I'm just waiting for Lego to make another version of it or bring it back. But that's the one which I want to have, and I've never had it.
And what is it about the Death Star that appeals to you?
Oh, the Death Star! We are big Star Wars fans. My daughter watched her first Star Wars movie when she was 6, and she literally cried at the end of the third movie when Anakin moved over to the dark side. She was 6. So the Death Star, again, the detail and everything, it's big. It's got too much detail in the sense that you can actually look inside the Death Star and see how those quarters and all those different rooms are. And it's really beautiful.
It's beautiful in the sense of just
the details around it and how closely they have captured how an actual Death Star would look if it was ever built. In terms of definitely the details and obviously the size of it as well. It's not a small piece. The bigger it is, the more details you can see around it.
Have you learned anything in doing Lego builds that you've been able to apply to your work life?
It's does teach you on how to structure things and plan things a lot, because if you're not structuring, like I said, the structuring pieces, we have to sort those Lego pieces out by color and by shapes and everything, so that we know if we need a certain one, this is the pile I have to look at. Otherwise, if everything is all jumbled together, it's gonna take forever to find one piece out of those 9,000 pieces. So it's all about structuring your stuff together, aligning them properly, and then doing it step by step so that everything fits together. And that's one of the main reasons I got my daughter into it as well. So she learns that aspect of life as well, that you need to plan things out. You need to structure things out and plan things out rather than just jumping headfirst into it and not knowing what to do.
Is there an artistry to it as well as like an engineering approach?
If you have a lot of pieces from the same series or from the same genre, then yes, you can display them. Like if you have a lot of space to display them, then pretty much all the Star Wars ones can go together. You can display them artistically. That sort of a Star Wars scene is going on. But for that, definitely need a lot of space as well. But otherwise, it's pretty much just displaying them the way they are. They themselves, one piece at a time displayed, is itself looks really beautiful and big.
Now, is there a small Lego build?
We got tons of them.
Do you find those equally fun to do?
Depends on what they are. The smallest one I have is a 20 or 30 piece Lego. So those are fun, but not in the terms of the build process, because they're so small it just takes 5-10 minutes to build them. But it's just the way they look, but no, not in terms of building them. It's a pretty small Lego. It's pretty easy. It's not that fun to build. It's just fun to look at.
So you mentioned that there are people online who are Lego builders. What's the craziest or most impressive thing you've seen somebody build?
Lord of the Rings, the Minas Tirith. Somebody built that. Again, that's not a standard Lego set. And it's not a small one. When I was looking at it, it was almost 4 or 5 feet tall. Pretty detailed set of Minas Tirith is what they built from loose Legos, along with all the details and everything. It was really beautiful. And on his website, he's even selling plans for that. So like you can purchase Legos on your own, but he's selling the actual plans on what Legos you should go and buy and how to build it.
Oh, interesting. Do you have any interest in creating plans like that yourself?
No, because for that I need to get a little more artistic and build something like that. Now, his plan itself, he's selling it for $1,000. And when I was looking at it, all the Legos and everything which I have to buy to build that big of a set, it's including the plan and everything, that's easily $10,000 worth of Legos.
You're kidding.
People say, that's what I try and tell my wife. We don't spend enough. There are people who spend a lot more on Legos than what we do.
You got it pretty good, lady. Oh my goodness. So wait, so how much does a single Lego piece cost?
Not much, not much. A loose Lego can be a quarter or maybe even 50 cents or maybe even $1, depends on that. But it all depends. It all comes down to how many Legos you need. When you're building something like a Minas Tirith, where you have to put all those Legos and all those details in it, it racks up to a lot of Legos.
Your little one is doing builds. She just kind of grabs them and does whatever, right? She's not like trying to do a plan.
She grabs and builds the loose ones, but there are some planned ones for her age as well. Because she sees us building all these planned ones, so we got a couple of those for her over the holidays. Those are more Disney and those princess-themed ones where she built the whole Arendelle Castle from Frozen, or she built Mickey Mouse Fire Station. So those are planned ones, but she's starting to like those as well, where it actually follow a plan, and then, yeah, you got the whole Arendelle Castle with Elsa and Anna and Olaf sitting in front of it.
Has your wife ever been tempted to do these builds with you?
We've asked her. She said no, it's not her cup of tea. She said it's too much work. And we're okay with that, because if she gets hooked onto this as well, I really don't know what's going to happen to the house then.
You guys are going to have to start a YouTube channel or something and get monetized. Speaking of, do you watch anybody on YouTube?
Not on YouTube. I follow a couple of guys on Instagram who build Legos, and that's where I saw the whole Minas Tirith build as well. But no, not much on YouTube. On Instagram, I've seen I follow 2 or 3 guys who do that. There's a guy out of Russia who's even built a Lego museum out of, like, his own Lego museum where you can buy tickets to go see what all he's built, and he's got a pretty massive collection of Legos which he's built.
If you could design, maybe not you design it, but what's your wish for somebody to create a plan for? What would be your dream?
Definitely want something from Lord of the Rings. Definitely the Minas Tirith. If that can, as long as it gets a little economical than the $10,000, oh no, I don't have any Lord of the Rings Legos, and I don't think even Lego makes any Lord of the Rings Legos with as much detail as they do for Star Wars and Harry Potter and that sort of stuff. But no, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, or even from The Hobbit, anything.
It'd be cool to have like an Edoras.
Yo, yes. Give me that. Give me Hobbiton. Give me a replica of Hobbiton and build that as well. Or the Shire. Anything, but no, they don't have anything like that.
That's a bummer. Somebody out there, get on that. So, just kind of to wrap up, if someone wanted to get started putting together Legos, getting into builds, how would you recommend they get started?
All these standard builds, they come with age and expertise ratings. I'll say pretty much look at the easy ones to build. Don't go for the expert ones, because the expert ones are like the Colosseum or the Imperial Star Destroyer, which are pretty intricate, where you have to carefully handle them and build them. Start with the smaller ones and then slowly make your way up to the big ones. But it's, to be honest, it's a lot of money once you go to the big ones. None of these Legos come cheap. So if you really want to get into it, you need to think about spending a lot to get these big ones.
Well, Nitesh, thank you so much for sharing your passion with us today. This has been so fun, and it's been so cool to learn all about Legos.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie, for having me today.
You can find Nitesh on Instagram and Twitter @Nawab. I'll include links in the show notes, as well as links to Nitesh's favorite nonprofits, and mine too. Huge thanks to Nitesh for sharing his passion with us today. Just a reminder that you can find this podcast on Instagram @LoveWhatYouLovePod, on Twitter @WhatYouLovePod, and the website is lovewhatyoulovepod.com. All of the transcripts for Love What You Love are available for everyone on the website, thanks to Emily White, transcription magician and proprietress of the Wordary. If you need transcripts, reach out to her at emilywhite@thewordary.com. The music for Love What You Love is called Inspiring Hope by Pink Sounds. A link to that artist is included in the show notes. As always, thank you so much for listening. Let's hang out again soon.
There's some good in this world, Mr. Furl. And it's worth fighting for.